Welcome, everyone, to the latest All Sports Betting Podcast, T20 Cricket World Cup preview. And we're here for the second game on Thursday, Namibia versus UAE from Kardinia Park in Geelong. So I'm Steve Wyss, and I'm delighted to be with Kevin Harper, as always. And really, the implications of this game does it depend too much on the outcome of the first game? Namibia, if they win, they're in, right?
Yeah, Namibia are in if they win. They're in if Sri Lanka win and they don't lose by an absolute landslide.
Yeah, so fairly straightforward for Namibia. I guess it's easier for them if. There's a lot of things anyway. But UAE, basically, they should be beating the UAE. They are the strong favourites for this game. Weather forecast for this particular match is very good. It's going to be sunny all day and then a clear evening stop. This is a 7 p.m. kickoff time local. Here is the forecast. Again, pretty straightforward. Like I say, sunny all day and then in the evening. They'll be on the cloudy side. Shouldn't be a problem at all. Move into the match betting for this game. And the favourites are indeed Namibia at 1.44. Now, I'll be honest with you, Kev. From what I've seen of the UAE, I actually think this 1.44 on Namibia is quite a big price. I don't know what you think about that.
I'm not sure I'd like to be on it, though, Steve. Bearing in mind how they struggled as favourites in their last game. I'll just clarifying what I said. If Netherlands win that first game, Namibia are through if they don't get battered. I think I just said Sri Lanka. I meant Netherlands. They were terrible as favourites in that in that previous game, weren't they? Namibia. Their best cricket has come when they were the outsiders against Sri Lanka. Really and truly, if you look at that last game, it was only the Dutch kind of falling over the line that made that look as close as it was. It wasn't a close contest at all. And that would concern me because technically the UAE can still qualify. If the Netherlands win and the UAE absolutely batter Namibia, they could qualify. It's not going to happen, but sports people have to look at it objectively and think, well, we're still in it. So they'll give this a good go. But I think realistically, they'll be able to play this with a bit of freedom. I think they'll be able to play it with a bit of freedom anyway, because I think Sri Lanka will have won earlier in the day, which will have knocked the UAE out. Now, if Sri Lanka have won, this becomes knockout cricket for Namibia. They have to win. And all of a sudden, I mean, funny shit happens when teams who aren't expected to have to win when they're not used to having to do so. So, yeah, they're the favourites. Yes, that price looks juicy. There's an air of caution to be had, though. There's also an air of caution because they don't have a good record against UAE either. These two have played 5 times since 6th of January 2020. 4 of them have been in ODIs, admittedly, and 1 was in a T20 game. UAE have won 4 and they've lost 1. So
the UAE, if they qualify from here, then it'll be unbelievable.
Yeah, they're not.
You never know. One thing I will say about the UAE, I think their bowling attack isn't that bad, or hasn't looked that bad in this group. Now, their batting is an absolute shambles. Now, I said, didn't I, in the last game, if they got out for less than 100, I wouldn't be shocked. And that's exactly what happened. If they got bowled out for less than 100 here again, I wouldn't be altogether that shocked either. You know, they just don't look like they can get that many runs, do they? But the bowling has certainly kept them in the game. There was a hat-trick, I do believe, from someone in that game. And, it can keep them competitive. That's the strength, isn't it?
At the moment, it is, yeah. Their batting isn't that bad. They're just not used to these conditions. They come from the Middle East where the ball doesn't bounce. There is no pace in the pitches, and they've just been found out on 2 occasions for that. And then, like I said, if you've listened to the Sri Lanka Netherlands preview, these second-tier sides, they're not used to facing mystery spin. And, of course, Hasaranga weaved his spell on them in that middle order, didn't they? But they're better than what they've shown with the bat. But, this is the first time that this group of players have been to a major tournament, particularly on these pitches. And you just hope they can show something with the bat before they depart. No one wants to see a team come to this tournament and not showcase what they've got. So hopefully they can do that, and not too much, but hopefully they can do it a little bit better than what they have done. But as you'll find out in the bets that I'm going to come to, I don't really think it's going to happen.
Yeah, you took under 295.5 runs for the first match on Thursday, same venue. And again, you're on the total match runs under here. It's a lower line, But talk us through this in terms of, I guess, a lot of the factors still apply to the ground, but also the potentially tense nature of the match from Namibia's point of view.
Yeah, 276.5 runs for this one, Steve. So, if you want to put it into sort of context, if the first innings is less than 135, we're guaranteed to win. But as I said in the other game, just because a team goes above that figure doesn't necessarily mean to say it gets chased down. Chasing team on this ground in particular have got an awful record, haven't they? So I know the Dutch have won both their games chasing, but they've fallen over the line in both of them. Why do I like this one? Well, I like it because I think that Namibia are going to struggle with the bat. They struggled with the bat against the Dutch, and their attack isn't overly great. And what interests me here is the differential between Namibia with seam and Namibia with spin, and UAE are going to bowl more spinners certainly than the Dutch did. No less spin than what Sri Lanka did. So against the Netherlands, 3 for 38, they lost off 7 overs against the spin. And against Sri Lanka, 2 for 50 off of 8 overs. So if you put them two together, that's 15 overs, 5 for 88. So it's not a runner ball, and they've lost 5 wickets. 5 of the 20 wickets that they could have lost, they've lost to spin. And if you put that into context, they've faced 25 overs of seam in this competition, 7 for 202. So they're going at 8 and over against seam, losing 7 wickets in 25 overs as opposed to the spin. So quite simply, they don't play spin particularly well. UAE are going to send a fair bit of spin down. That will keep the Namibia run line down. And then, as you've seen right throughout the tournament, the UAE are just not good at batting on these pitches. The couple might come off here, but you have to look at that Namibia attack as well. It's half decent. It's got a fairly decent record against the UAE. And in these conditions, it's just shot Sri Lanka out for 108. Okay, Sri Lanka killed themselves a little bit, but UAE have done plenty of that as well. And the Netherlands only got a run chase of 1-2-2 in the final over. So nothing about this match screams to me that it's going to be high scoring, other than the fact that the two teams are familiar with each other, having played a fair bit recently. But they haven't played on these conditions. We've said all we need to say about the ground and about the state of the outfield. And under 276.5 looks to be the way to go for me. This isn't a game that Namibia have to pile on the runs. It's not going to be, we've got to score 180 and win. They've just got to put a score on the board they think they can defend. And there it is.
Yeah, I would agree with this. I think both the match unders look good here for runs. It's not an easy place to score runs at, this venue. It's difficult. Like I said in the first preview, getting 4s is really hard because the ball just stops up. So you're getting 2s and potentially 3s, but 4s are difficult to come by. And this could be a tense one as well. There's not really that much batting strength. And, the bowling attacks look very serviceable against this sort of opposition. You've got another performance bet in this game, and this involves a UAE player. This is Kardinia Meiyappan Performance, Bet365 over 20.5, 1 point for a run, 20 points for a wicket, and 10 points for a catch, 25 for a stumping, but he's not going to get that. Just 1 wicket and 1 run. That's all we need from him here.
Yeah, exactly that, Steve. Usually I wouldn't take just a bowler to cover a performance, but the UAE have been, they've got him into bat both times in this series, so I don't see any reason why he's not going to bat in this game. And like I say, 1 run, then get onto the wicket. I've just highlighted the Namibian issue against spin. What did I say it was? 5 for 88 or 15 overs. This guy bowled spin. He's just taken a hat-trick against Sri Lanka. The 3rd wicket of that hat-trick, by the way, was an absolute peach of a delivery. Again, just came through the gate of Dasun Shanaka, who is a decent operator, and took the middle stump out. Obviously, there was a bit of luck in the first one, a little bit more fortune in the second one. But a hat-trick's a hat-trick, and he ain't going to be feeling as good about his bowling ever in his life as what he is right now. He's bowling to a team that can't play spin particularly well, particularly in the top of their order. Maybe the further down it goes, it gets a little bit better, but not massively so. So I think he can take a wicket here. And then if he gets a run, we might not even need to get a run. He could take 2 wickets. He could take a wicket and a catch. But, if he gets into bat, as long as he's not out for a duck and he's taken a wicket, happy days.
Top batsman market, you've got a top UAE bat here. You're going for Kashif Daud, who's a 14-1 shot at Betfred. Also, I think Betfred Sportsbook, but he is being backed as well. A bit of blue on him here. So where's he going to come in the order?
That's the question, Steve. Before I say that, do look around. There is plenty of 16-1 about this guy to top score. He batted at 3, didn't he, in the first game? Came out to bat.
The slugger, wasn't he? Like the pinch hitter.
Came out to bat.
Ants in his pants, right?
Well, not to the extent that one or two of the others that we've seen in this tournament, like the Irish one was. But yeah, I mean, obviously, he's not there for a long time. He's there for a good time, isn't he? But yeah, the fact that he batted 3 there, that would suggest to me that if Sri Lanka have already won earlier in the day and the UAE are out of this competition and they want to have some fun, they might push him up to bat at 3 again. And if he does, then obviously we're going to be on a double figure price at a guy who's coming in first drop. So that in itself is immediate value. Why do I like him? Well, I mean, he scored 16 in that game, didn't he, against the Netherlands, who, you know, to be fair to them, their attack wasn't too bad, particularly in the seam department, so that was all right. It's the 2 scores he's made against Namibia in ODI cricket, admittedly, this year, but he scored 76 not out and 30 not out, and I've checked both games, both Freiling, Smith and Wyss, the 3 main bowlers for Namibia, all played in that game. So he's faced this attack in ODI cricket, and he hasn't been bowled. He hasn't gotten out to them yet in 2 innings. 76 and 30. If he scores that 30 in this game, he's going to top score. So 16-1, if you can get that 16-1. If not, the 14-1 that Steve's flagged up at Betfred. It's all value prices, particularly if he walks in at 3, but he still walked in at 7 in the last game. So it's not like he's going to be the last man in or anything like that. Worth taking a chance, particularly if Sri Lanka have won that earlier game and UAE are playing for bobbins here.
Mohamed Wasim, we're on him for the top UAE batsman for the tournament. I think he still leads just by a whisker, might be by 5 runs. So it's pretty likely we'll know the result of this outright after this game, because they're almost certainly going to be knocked out. So hopefully he can hold on. But I would not begrudge Kashif Daud getting a monster score here at all at this sort of price. So 1 unit on Daud here. Let's have a quick look at the other batsman market for Namibia. And is there anyone here that you would maybe look at?
Well, I mean, Freiling's top scored in the last game.
It's a big price, isn't it, for Freiling?
Yeah, I'm guessing they're thinking that he's not going to get into bat, which is probably fair enough. But if he does get into bat, I would probably, I mean, in the last game, I went Wyss over him because I thought that the first game was an anomaly and that Wyss would then bat above Freiling. That wasn't the case. So whether it's because Wyss is coming to the end of his career and they're clearly just trying to use as minimum of him as possible and get those that are going to take them forward more time in the middle, I don't know. But he seems to be coming in there. I mean, the other value one is Smith. He was the one who part of that partnership against Sri Lanka that went really, really well. So there might be a bit of value there. He's a lot less likely to bat, though, has to be said. But hey, if Namibia are playing to win and they suddenly start shitting a brick, it could quite easily see that players down the order do come in and do have to get them over the line. The danger would be that they also continue in that vein and don't get them over the line. So for me, it's not a market to...
Tough one.
Yeah, it's not a market to go out, really. And also, because Wyss is not the top bowler, I'm kind of hoping Namibia do a job on here and gives him 5 games to come back up. Just on that Wasim one, Steve, he's 16 ahead of anyone else. And he is 28 ahead of the man that I've just picked, Kashif Daud. So it's highly unlikely that Daud catches him, even if he top scores in this game. So that's good.
Yeah. Hopefully Wasim can bring in that outright. A recap then for the 3 bets in this game. Under 276.5 runs. And the Kardinia Meiyappan Performance over 20.5. Both 3-unit picks with Bet365. And top batsman Kashif Daud for UAE. 14-1 is the official line here, although he can be back to a bigger price elsewhere if you shop around a bit. So, hopefully we can finish this group with a bang. It's been a good group for us. Remember, do check us out on the socials as well. 4 Twitter accounts to follow there, and check out Kev's website as well, kevs@sportsbet.com. But from this particular edition, it's goodbye from me. Best of luck, Kev.
Cheers, Steve. Yep. Hopefully, like you say, finish it off well. Should be a good game, even if it's a low-scoring one. So, yeah, been good. And until next time, toodle pip.
See you around, everyone. Goodbye.